Hi, welcome to the SMPS annual membership meeting and happy 50th anniversary to all of our members. I'm Michael Gary, the CEO of SMPS, and with me is Holly Bolton, our 2023 president, and Dana Lancor, our 23-24 president. And shortly, you'll also meet Barbara Shuck, the president of the SMPS Foundation. And joining us online is the board of directors, though you're not seeing them on the screen right now. So it's hard to believe that one fiscal year has passed, and here we are on August 31st, and tomorrow, September 1, begins a new programming year with new leadership. But today, as required by our bylaws, we will review all the happenings over the last year, and that will be an opportunity for questions at the end of this program. You can post questions at any time to the Q&A screen. But please note also that this meeting is being recorded for our archives and distribution to all of the members. And if you desire closed captioning service, please click the button on your screen for a live transcript. So this gathering is more than just a requirement. It's also important for members to know what their organization has been doing for and with them over the last 12 months. So to get us started, here's Holly.
Hello, my fellow SMPS members, and happy 50th anniversary. This is a huge milestone for a nonprofit organization that's largely led by volunteers, and it's a testament to your engagement and involvement. SMPS started in 1973 with a small group of people who gathered at an AIA conference after attending a marketing seminar by Weld Cox. Weld and our founders launched not only our society, but also the career path of professional services marketing. Since then, SMPS has grown to impact thousands of professionals. This year, we're also celebrating the largest membership in our history, with more than 7,500 people as part of our special community. Now, a lot has changed in 50 years, but there are so many aspects of SMPS that have stood the test of time. Our founders were ambitious, bold, and transformational leaders who saw an opportunity to help each other build business for their firms. Creating something new took creativity, collaboration, and resilience, all traits that we still see today through volunteer leaders like you. As president, it has been a privilege to meet and connect with many of you as we collectively pursue the SMPS vision of business transformed through marketing leadership. I've witnessed members leading in their firms, as well as their chapters, regional conference committees, and other SMPS initiatives. I've also had the opportunity to share my perspectives in newsletters and the Marketer Journal. And through those opportunities, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. When I started my SMPS term as president-elect in 2021, we were in the throes of the COVID pandemic, and there's no shortage of uncertainties still today. It brought back memories of when I started in the AEC industry and shortly thereafter joined SMPS. We were in the midst of the dot-com crisis. A few years later, when I was president of my local chapter, the Great Recession started. But throughout all of these times of uncertainty, SMPS has remained a constant companion for me, from connecting me with members who became advocates and friends to creating leadership and lifelong learning opportunities that prepared me for what's next. SMPS has been an important part of my life. As I stand here today, I'm proud to say that I don't know of any other association that can create a true partnership for a member's entire professional journey as SMPS did for me and can do for you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve an association that's been so meaningful to me, and I'm thrilled to pass the torch of leadership to Dana Lancor. Now she's going to tell you what's next for SMPS and our members.
Thank you, Holly, and thank you for your service as our president this year. It is an honor to serve with you on the Society Board after many years of working and presenting together to advance our industry. As we celebrate our golden anniversary, the Board of Directors is addressing the next 50 years and the changes impacting our members. We're starting with a strategic plan, which will have short and long-term implications. Our winning aspiration is that on January 1st, 2026, SMPS is an accessible and indispensable community for all professionals who drive growth and sustainability for AEC firms. Furthermore, SMPS is bold, anticipatory, and resolute in advancing a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our organization and the industry. With this aspiration, we've created 3 strategic pillars for our plan. Strategic priority A is to invest in digital transformation to deliver community and education wherever people live and work by expanding our infrastructure and creating new models for community in a digital world. Professionals of all ages are learning and networking online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as the digital world continues to develop and adjust to the long-term impacts of the pandemic. SMPS needs to meet people where they consume content and have experiences. Strategic priority B is to cultivate professionals with diverse expertise that are critical to sustaining a thriving industry. The roles within our firms are expanding with new challenges each day. As we focus on our vision to transform business through marketing leadership, we must support the profession through new career pathways, competency models, expanded education, and meeting our members at each step in their career journey. At the same time, demographics in the US and Canada continue to evolve, and so must SMPS to remain relevant and be an organization of choice. We're already addressing issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but our vision is to be a leader on those topics by modeling the way and influencing the profession and the AEC industry. And finally, strategic priority C is to create a best-in-class experience for professionals responsible for business growth. Our goal here is for SMPS to not just remain relevant, but to thrive for the next 50 years and beyond. With ever-changing demands on our time, we want to ensure that SMPS membership is viewed as imperative to professionals responsible for marketing and business development in their firms. This means strengthening all of our components by delivering consistent value in membership, the volunteer experience, and our overall offerings. The SMPS experience should be rewarding and accessible to the individual professional as well as our member firms. I'm thrilled at the opportunity to work on the strategic plan with our talented HQ team, the board, and all of you, and I look forward to sharing our progress along the way. Before I turn this back to Holly, I want to reflect and share a few things as I assume the presidency tomorrow on September 1st. When I sit back and think about what I hope we accomplish this year, the number one thing that comes to mind is that we continue to build an organization where every member feels like they belong. Our roles are challenging. The change in our industry is constant, and our world can be incredibly divisive. But I believe as members of SMPS, we can always fall back on each other for support. I can confidently say, as a marketing leader working through some of the most difficult days of the pandemic, it was my closest SMPS friends that got me through it all. They were always there for a call, a text, with advice, support, or just a good laugh. I hope all of you can build those types of relationships that carry you through the tough times by being a part of SMPS. I know it's possible. So now, Holly, turning it back to you to share more news and updates.
Dana, you're going to be a great president. Thank you for stepping up to the opportunity. We do have some additional news regarding the strategic plan. Earlier, I talked about our founding in 1973. While the core purpose of SMPS hasn't changed since then and isn't changing now, the activities that support our purpose and the words we use to describe it have evolved. The phrase to advocate for, educate, and connect leaders in the building industry, that's been the mission of SMPS for nearly 20 years, and it's served us really well. As we celebrate our 50th year and we look toward the future, it was an opportunity for us to revisit how we articulate our why. So, as part of the strategic planning process, the board approved a new mission statement. The mission of SMPS is to engage, inspire, and empower AEC professionals for leadership and lifelong learning. While it's not really significantly different, the refined statement uses more contemporary words that reflect the language our members use when describing the value that our organization provides. So, a big thank you to the board, amazing staff, and all the members who participated in the surveys and focus groups that informed the strategic plan and our new mission statement. Before I wrap up, I have a few more things to share with you. Lots of changes have happened over the fiscal year, including adding an all-digital marketer journal, an updated Blueprints 3.0, an improved My SMPS experience, and completely refreshed Markendium resource guides. We hosted programs on all sorts of marketing and professional development topics, and we launched the Women Plus AEC initiative. You can see all of this on the newly revamped website, smps.org. We also celebrated the accomplishments of our members by elevating people to fellow and celebrating the new CPSMs. You can see their names on the screen. The accomplishments of our organization are in great part the outcome of our dedicated chapter leaders and volunteers. More than 1,000 members are involved on committees, task forces, and chapter boards of directors. Thank you for your leadership. For those who aren't involved, I encourage you to plug in and take advantage of the benefits and the relationships that result from being active in SMPS. Finally, before we head off into the future, let's thank the 2022-2023 Board of Directors for their service. Our leaders this year include Bernice Bako, who is leaving the board after serving as our past president, Mike Wagner, who is retiring from the board after several years as our secretary-treasurer, Dana Lancourt, who will become our next president, Paula Stamp, an at-large director, Ann Shiola, an at-large director, and Ben Sawa, an at-large director, plus our CEO, Mike Geary. So thanks again to them, a huge thanks to our awesome staff, and thank you for the opportunity to serve as your president and for tuning in to this presentation. Next up is our 50th anniversary video, and then we're going to hear from our SMPS Foundation. Then we'll be available for any questions from the audience.
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
SMPS was sort of born in the back room of a conference at AIA, and it was shortly after they had said that it was okay to advertise to get work, because before that it was unethical. So there was a small group of people who are the legacy members. They invented this industry. There was no professional services marketing industry before them.
When we first started SMPS, we had no concept of this, how the size would go. What we were doing was just bringing the design industry out of the dark ages. A marketing professional that had its own company was Weld Cox. I had gone to Kansas City for an AIA marketing program put on by Weld, and it was called Marketing Professional Services. There were 5 of us had looked at each other and said, we need to get together. And so I said, well, what if we form a society? And I said, and remember, we're bird doggers. We go out and sniff out the lead. Why don't we call ourselves the SOBs? And they thought that was very funny. And then we met in Chicago, and number 1 on Weld's agenda was to change the name. And that's where we formed the Society for Marketing Professional Services. And the SOBs was no longer.
I'm super thankful to the founders for recognizing that there was an opportunity for us to get together and create this network. And I was fortunate to know Lou Zickler. I was talking to his sons, and they were talking about how much he loved SMPS and how fulfilling it was for him to see how much the organization has grown and that it has stood the test of time.
We started with $200, and Bill Flagg was the newsletter editor. And his first newsletter opening sentence was, "This is your newsletter, SMPS News." And all of a sudden, people were saying they really liked SMPS News. We probably printed 100 because it was easy to do. And my daughter Andrea, she was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I sat her down with envelopes, labels, and newsletters, and we did the mailing.
We just decided let's start an organization, and so Andy Zinsmeyer is the hero of this story because he is the one that he was with a firm in St. Louis. He had the time and the wherewithal, and frankly, he financed it himself personally to get the whole thing started and off the ground. And from there, everything else occurred. Looking back on it, I feel like, you do things in life, at least for me. I just like to make the world a better place. I like to make things better. I like to be in a place where people are working together for a common goal to make things better. And that's really how SMPS started out. And I think the most gratifying thing for me is obviously it has drawn people all through these years that want to do the same thing. We've all had this common goal of, in one way or another, making things better for our firms and then for the built environment at large, I think.
We started the chapters. You couldn't have planned it better than what that actually came out.
SMPS, we started the chapter in 1981, and I got involved immediately. It was such a new idea to have people come together and to encourage all levels, all different groups to come to a lunch meeting and sit down at the same table was amazing. And we had, sellout after sellout after sellout. And it was just fantastic. And our other goal was to have the owners, principals, and managers of firms come also to the programs so that you also got to meet the bosses, the people that were leading the firms. Many people in firms at the time did not know senior management or other people in other departments, let's say. So SMPS brought those people all together to the same table.
There's no place that you can go and say, I want to get a degree in marketing professional services. SMPS is the only organization that offers the opportunity to have that deeper dive into an education and continuing education and networking and opportunities to test those skills and grow. That says a lot about the organization.
The legacy in the long run is for everybody to look back and say, wow, it was SMPS that got all these marketers to be in leadership seats in all these firms, helping steer our firms. Can't just do it with the technical professionals. You need the marketing professionals.
Marketing and business development people tend to be pretty fun, right? So having a group of people that just want to not only advance the profession, but do it in a fun, creative manner makes SMPS very special.
Do you want to take your career to the next level? Do you want to be around people who actually understand you, where you actually feel like you're actually going to learn and you're going to get somewhere? Come try out, SMPS. Once you're there, I guarantee it, you're going to feel welcome and you're going to be more curious and you're going to want to come back.
So the future of SMPS includes what they're doing with the foundation and the opportunity to really research and see, how are we impacting the greater AEC community and be a voice in that space for other organizations to really come to as us as the subject matter experts on marketing. So I really see that as something that's going to really grow over time as well. I'm really just happy to be involved with that and that we have this arm to do just that kind of research.
When I think about our founders, they never envisioned SMPS was going to be as large as it is and as wildly successful as it is. The fact that they're still around to see it makes it all that much sweeter. But, they, like me and my first firm, they worked for firms that their bosses were visionaries who saw the value of marketing and saw the value of business development. And so, if they hadn't had that opportunity through their companies, who knows, maybe we wouldn't be here today.
Hello, I'm Barbara Scheck, president of the SMPS Foundation.
While SMPS is celebrating its 50th anniversary, the foundation is celebrating its 31st anniversary this year, and we have a great legacy of supporting our profession in partnership with SMPS. While technically separate from SMPS, the foundation and SMPS operate as one family. We're focused on delivering research and marketing intelligence to inspire success and improve bottom line results. Not only that, the foundation also supports DEI initiatives, including offering scholarships to students attending historically Black colleges and universities. To date, 31 students have received scholarships. Thanks to our donors for making this happen, and especially to the Zinsmeyer family for their initial investment. Successful businesses are all about moving faster with less effort. Standing out from the competition is hard, and savvy professionals are always on the hunt for industry information that builds their competitive advantage. The SMPS Foundation produces relevant research that helps design and construction companies get and stay ahead. This year, we conducted research and published 2 intriguing reports. First was the update to the popular publication, Neuropsychology of Influence and Decision Making. The newest report shares how the ideas can be put into action. The second report is Positioning and Differentiation in AEC Marketing. Many question the value of marketing in fields that are often heavily relationship sales driven. Branding as a discipline is frequently lumped in with marketing and suffers the same jaded view. It is important, however, for organizations to realize how much broader branding is than marketing or promotions. This publication helps to resolve all of this. Also this year, Blueprints 3.0 was published and is one of our most popular publications. It has been updated with new content and includes an online interactive component. The publication is the perfect resource for firms and individual professionals and will help you choose possible career paths, drive business development, and it recommends department roles and structures. You can find these and more publications in our bookstore. In the coming year, we are planning publications on marketing technology, including artificial intelligence, decision-making by project owners, and a look at the seller-doer model. Finally, a huge thank you to our awesome trustees that serve this year. We are grateful for the time you volunteer in serving the foundation. And here's a look at next year's trustees, who will be led by Janet Lively McCauley. It has been an absolute pleasure serving as your foundation president this year. I'm proud of our achievements and thank you for your support. I hope you will consider supporting the foundation by donating today at smps.org/foundation.
The most exciting things that I see are the growth in the organization over the last year. People are using our job board more than ever before. Those are the most exciting things for me.
Something I'm most excited about is the implementation of our new strategic plan, something that we've been working on for the past year. We've got a lot of great things coming down the pike for our membership and excited to get to share those with everyone here in the near future.
I'm most proud of from the SMPS board this year of the work actually that the foundation is doing and having an opportunity to see the research in action.
Wow, this past year has been tremendous. It's been one of looking forward, not just looking back. And it's been about planning for the future.
We've made some pretty strong connections, and I'm pretty excited because those strong connections are going to take us forward.
Hello, everyone, and thanks again for attending our annual SMPS membership meeting. You just watched a presentation on the accomplishments of the last fiscal year, and we offered some insights into the coming year. Again, I'm Holly Bolton, and I'm here with Dana Lancour, whose presidency starts tomorrow, along with our CEO, Michael Gary, and also helping us out behind the scenes is Marcy Thompson. Thank you, Marcy. She is our Chief Strategy Officer. So we can answer questions right now. So please type your questions or your comments into the Q&A feature, which is located at the bottom of your screen. In the meantime, I hope some of you here attended the Amplify AEC conference, which just ended 2 weeks ago in Austin. We had nearly 1,000 attendees, and it was such an amazing experience. So if you want to keep learning, or if you missed that event, please consider Amplify AEC Digital. Registration is open now, and if you did attend Amplify, it's included. Now I'm going to turn over to Dana.
Thanks, Holly. While we focused on last year, as your president-elect, I want to remind everyone about a few things coming up soon in the new fiscal year. We're going to have the first ever conference on artificial intelligence coming this October. We will explore the technology that powers popular tools like ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing, and Google Bard. During this one-day conference, you'll learn more about these tools, how they work, and ways to use them through prompts and exercises to manage marketing, communications, and other firm operations. The event takes place on October 26th in Washington, D.C., and I hope to see all of you there. The second event that's very popular is called the Pinnacle Experience. This will take place November 7th through 9th in Minneapolis. This event is for professionals with tenured experience, 10 to 15 plus years, who serve as that first chair for leading firms' marketing and business development efforts. This may include CEOs, CMOs, directors, principals, and vice presidents. You can register for any of these events on smps.org. Back to you, Holly.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that, and I can't wait for those upcoming events. So now it's time to hear from the audience. Marcy, did we have any questions that came up during our presentation, or are there any questions now?
Yeah, so a couple of questions. I'll answer the first question. Several people are asking if this recording will be made available, and the answer is yes. It will be shared following today's experience. So yes, the recording will be made available. It can be shared individually, and it can certainly be shared with chapters and anyone who would like to participate. So that was our first question. So a question come in. Curious about the inclusion of sustainability in the new strategic plan aspiration statement. Could you speak to what's behind that, and specifically what role you envision SMPS playing in the transition to a sustainable economy?
Great, thank you, Marcy. That's a great question. So I'll tackle that, and then I welcome Dana and Michael to jump in as well. But as we know, sustainability can apply to a lot of things, right? We hear about it as it relates to things that are going on in our environment with climate change and resiliency and all of those things, which are certainly a critical part of the building and industry. And then the other piece of it is sustainability from just a continuity perspective in terms of something that's lasting and the different aspects of sustainability. So, we really want to look at creating a future that is sustainable and growth that's sustainable over time. So those are just a couple areas of looking at it broadly than, simply one definition of sustainability. Dana or Michael, any other thoughts you want to add to that?
Holly, I think you summed it up really well. I think we need to continue to define what sustainability means to us. And certainly, overwhelmingly, we need to make sure that we're supporting our members in their sustainability efforts. So I think if we achieve those things, it's really part of our mission. And that's what I would hope we would do through our strategic plan.
And I'll just add on at the very end of this and all of that, yes, and that one of the, historically SMPS has been focused on content related to specifically to marketing strategies, business development strategies. But I hope that our members have seen in the last few years really been including more business centric. Our goal is to be a center for business growth. That's built into the strategic plan as well. And so providing the knowledge for our members to understand what sustainability means in all of the ways, but specifically we're talking about business sustainability, being able to weather ups and downs of economies, for example, being able to manage the changing technologies and customer base that you may have. So our members have an understanding of all of that. Lastly, which I had a really good point, which I just forgot, which is, I know, I would look for these things in our magazine, at conferences and webinars. These are being added to a variety of our content areas. And then for our chapter leaders that are on board on this call right now as well, be thinking about how you're offering these programs locally, so that you're also expanding the breadth of content that you're offering to your members to include these discussions on sustainability, technology, et cetera.
All right. Thanks, Dana and Michael. Other questions that we have.
Not at this time.
See,
I saw a few.
Oh, wait. Sorry, my apologies. So here's another question. Does SMPS have any intentions of expanding to an international platform? And who would like to take that question?
I'll tackle that one first. And I'm not sure exactly what you mean by international platform. I could interpret that a variety of ways, but I'm just going to make the assumption about availability to people internationally, maybe perhaps membership. So already the organization provides membership to anybody anywhere on the globe. We do have members that are not just in North America. We have, of course, I hope people know that we have a chapter in Ontario, and we have got chapters throughout the United States. So we see ourselves as an international organization, but in terms of the technology, of course, is available worldwide as well. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by an international platform. If that doesn't answer your question, please do a follow-up in our Q&A. Make sure we get your question answered. If that wasn't specific to what you were thinking about.
Great. Anything more on that? I have a comment and then another question. So a statement from Janet McCauley. So not a question, but a statement, or a couple of them. Thank you to the Society Board, leadership, and staff for an incredible Amplify in 2022-23 year. Your leadership and service, we all appreciate. Thank you, Holly, and I look forward to Dana's year ahead, and I look forward to day one as your SMPS Foundation president. So thank you, Janet.
Yes, we look forward to her leadership as well. Thank you, Janet, for stepping up and serving the foundation.
Yes. All right, so here is another question or comment initially. I hear lots of words like inspire, indispensable, accessible, sustainable, very subjective words. What are the specific tangibles you plan to do, and how will you know if you've succeeded in being these things? Do you have specific definitions of these words? Is there a third party who measures your outcomes against a set of objective standards? It's wonderful language, but would like to know the brass tacks.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And I think it's very insightful and an important question to ask. So as part of our strategic plan, we've shared with you the winning aspiration, the vision, the mission, and some of these strategic priorities. So of course, this is sort of the broader components of the strategic plan. But then that's just the start of it, right? You actually then start to say, okay, what does that mean? What does that look like? Out of all of the things that you could do, what should you do? What are those strategies that you're going to put forth, and the tactics? And so that's definitely part of continuing to build out the strategic plan and continue to implement it, update it, versus, we all kind of know a strategic plan needs to be put into action, and it's a living document, not just something that you start and kind of sit on the shelf. So I think a lot of those specific strategies and tangibles are in the works and going to be communicated to you all. And then the staff really helps to implement those strategies and tactics through their work, and measures outcomes and reports them back to the board. So stay tuned as we make progress on that, and just really appreciate the question and and the interest in moving all this forward.
I got a little more brassy to those
Yeah,
tax
brassy.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's first of all, these are aspirational, and it's in an aspiration statement. So the words to inspire and to motivate our membership and and our boards and our staff and our committees. But there are tangible things behind it. There is, you mentioned the strategic plan. We literally have lists of tasks that we are working on. It is an evolution, but we have essentially developed some definition, if you will, working definitions. I don't have anything to present to you right now, but things like accessible, we look at it from a variety of ways, both from issues around people's abilities. And so, for example, making sure that we are providing content and programs and experiences that are accessible to people. We think of all the ways from how people learn, how people are able, or how mobile are they, any issues with sight, hearing, etc. We are trying to make sure we're addressing those issues. So accessible is both that and also thinking about financial accessibility to make sure that the organization is accessible to individuals, to corporations. So we're always exploring new ways to offer registration rates. We're exploring membership rates, et cetera, et cetera. As we work with regional conferences, we're also trying to influence those types of decisions and experiences through those conferences as well. So it's really broad, and that's really would be another hour presentation on some of these things. But we are working on those things specifically. I think you'll see more of that as time goes on. The other part of your question is, how do we measure? We do have a consulting firm that we work with that helps us measure. And so we do that through surveys, focus groups, et cetera, with our members, and we measure that over time. We look at NPS, all the things that you may look at as a firm. What is the experience? Are people satisfied with their membership? What is the value proposition to them, et cetera, et cetera. So we are measuring those things. And then there's also just the superficial, if you will, measurement of, are people participating? So we've had the largest membership, people are registering for conferences. So that gives us feedback also that in our measuring, as part of our measuring stick. So that was a long answer, but I want you to know that it's a comprehensive way of thinking about that question, which was really great. Glad you asked.
Yeah, thank you. All right. It looks like
one more, Marcy, or two?
Yep, we just had another come in. So there's a follow-up to what you shared, Mike. So can those metrics that Michael just mentioned be shared with chapter leaders? Many of us are trying to do this at the chapter level too, and it would be great not to reinvent the wheel. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yes, and then we have, and I've answered a few by text and type, but we have one more. So a question about, how are member stories selected? In an effort to show the diverse range of membership, is it possible to be more intentional on featuring a more diverse group of profiles? So if someone else would like to answer, I'm happy to jump in here and talk about this. So the member stories are shared with us on a volunteer basis. So if it's submitted, it goes through a process, and those stories are featured. So we're not necessarily going out and handpicking the stories. However, we, along with our diversity, equity, and inclusion task force, are always looking for new ways to share. New ways to share our diverse thought leadership, the vast diversity amongst our members. And so we're always looking for those opportunities. So yes, we can and will do more of that, but we do share the stories that are submitted. So that's how that works. But
and I think, Marcy, on each one, I may be wrong, so probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I think at the end of each story, we publish this and mark it a quick look, and then it goes to the website. At the bottom, there's some instructions, right, that says if you're interested in submitting your story or something to that effect, so that there's, but anyone can email, I think, is it knowledge@smps.org?
Yes, and there was just a call last week for member
Yep.
stories, a call that went out to everyone requesting member stories, and they've started to come in. So, yes. So there was a question that there was a question about certification. So Courtney, thank you for your question. She said, great job, SMPS team. So the question is, will the society have CPSM training materials covering for the new Markendium available to chapters and members for study groups? And she gets lots of questions about that. And so SMPS and our certification committee, they are working to expand the offerings and study materials related to the CPSM exam. However, our professional testing services organization, that is who we partner with. They are the group that administers, they are in charge of helping us develop study materials. However, there must be a distinction between the body that administers the test and who develops the actual study materials. So we, in partnership with our certification committee and professional testing services, are working on additional materials. However, we do have practice tests available. We do have the Markendium and other supplemental readings available. So again, if you have specific questions or additional questions related to certification, please email myself, Marcy at smps.org, or my colleague Natalie at smps.org. And we like to work with each of our chapters, which we've been doing individually, to help you get what you need to prepare for study.
And if people have not visited the new smps.org, our certification page has been reorganized. And I think if you've not visited, I think going there would be a good place to start to see what is available to you. I think it's much more apparent and obvious to assist you with that. And a lot of chapters, this through our chapter networks are trying to coordinate study groups as well. So individuals have to do it on their own, check with chapter leader they may be doing, and you're not aware of that. There may be a chapter in your state or in the area that's doing something, and you can connect with and participate. Even if you're in Florida and California as a study group, you can participate in that. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be only at your chapter if they're not offering anything to you currently.
Great. Thank you. It looks like we have some other resources and suggestions that have popped up in the webinar chat too. So that is great. All right. Great questions. I love it. We have questions. Anything else?
It looks like there's one question in the chat about who is the HQ contact for regional conference board members to reach out to for questions.
So, and that, I didn't see that in the chat. Thank you, Dana. So you can, for regional conference board leaders, please reach out to Tina Myers. So Tina at smps.org, or myself, Marcy at smps.org. We are supporting regional conference leaders and regional conferences. So please reach out to us with any questions. We're here to help.
If you didn't see the chat, Shannon just reminded us that PRC, the Pacific Regional Conference, has a really well organized study group for all the chapters that participate in that conference. And I think anybody can join that as well. So we want you to make sure you have the right materials. So please let us know what else you might need.
Yep. Go back to Q&A. Okay. Nope.
Well, before Holly wraps us up, I wanted to say one more time, thank you to Holly. In front of her peers, we had a great opportunity to celebrate with her in Austin, her presidency, and at midnight tonight, she's off the hook as the president, 11:59. So Holly, thank you for your leadership as a president-elect. As the president, you'll continue to serve one more year, so we're not losing you, fortunately. And so thank you. And then, of course, to Dana, at 12:01, you become the president. So congratulations to you, and thank you for stepping up to leadership for the organization.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for that kind comment. And I'm going to call Dana at 12:01.
I will also.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, so much. I really appreciated the engagement and all the questions. If you have more questions, reach out to us. We're a resource here for you and want to help you be successful, just like our founders envisioned 50 years ago. It's what our organization is all about. So thank you again for attending. Thank you for your time today. I know everyone's busy. Of course, thank you for your engagement with SMPS. Your involvement makes us all stronger. So I hope to see you at an SMPS event in the coming year, and I wish you all the best. So this concludes our meeting. Everyone, have a great rest of the day. Thank you.